Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I hope all is well with everybody. I just thank God He's been giving me a great week. Oh my goodness, God has been giving me a great week. It started off with Monday. Y'all. And God has just been blessing me because I did one action Monday. I did this action on Monday, and I denied myself. I gave up the right for the wrong. One action this week. And guess what? God has blessed me. That action has blessed me tremendously this week. It has taken me into a place that God has begun to show me favor. He began to put favor on my life. The favor I thought I had, God has really begun to open up favor because of that action of giving up that right for the wrong. God said, if any man desire to come after me, let him deny himself. Let him deny himself, what he wants to do, what our desires are, what we think we feel, and what we think we are owed, and what we think that we want to do. He said, let us deny ourselves and pick up our cross daily and follow him. And I just thank God that he was not slack regarding his promises, that he will bless us. He said he will not hold no good thing from us. And God began to bless me through that action. He began to open up the windows of heaven to me. And I just thank God because the Lord said we are his. We represent him. He said we are the temple of the Holy Ghost. He says he dwells in us, and we must represent him. We must represent him because we are bought with a price. The price is when he laid his life down for us. He laid his life down. No man taking it. He said we have been paid for. He said he paid for us with his life. And when he paid, because he laid it down, no man took it from him. They didn't come and take it. He paid. Like when you go pay something, you voluntary give that. And he volunteered his life for us, and he paid for us. He paid for us with his blood. And so he says to us, if we want to come after him, we got to deny ourselves, just like he did. He went before Pilate. He was in the garden. He went before the very thing he created. The very thing he created. He went before the Creator, went before the created. The Creator went before the created. And he laid his life down. They judged him. And they chose to take him over a murderer, to take his life. And he said, no man taketh from me. I laid it down. And Jesus began to lay his life down. He began to go up on Calvary, and he uttered not a word. He could have pleaded his case. He could have said, well, I did these works, and I did this, and I did the other, and I did this, but he didn't. Without a word. Without a word, he took the beating. Without a word, he took the bashing. Without a word, he took the spitting on his face. He wore those crown of thorns. Without a word, he began to pick up that cross. The very thing that was gonna be his demise, that cross. He began to pick it up. And without a word, he began to take it on up that hill. Imagine after losing all that blood to being beaten, losing all that blood, how weak he was. But he began to pick up that cross. And he began to, without a word, begin to go on up to Calvary. To just go on up there to get to, for what? To go up there, and now they're going to take that same cross and nail him to it. That same cross. And without a word, he began to do it. But without a word, he began to put him on the tree. Without a word, they stood it up, and he was on it. And both his arms were stretched, and he could hardly breathe. Without a word, he did that. And without a word, God sat in heaven and watched it. Watched his only son be crucified. Without a word, the angels stood back. No doubt they wanted to reach out. No doubt they wanted to go to help him, to rescue him. No doubt they wanted to, but God began to say, no, my son has to do this. He has to go through this. Without a word, heaven was silent. Without a word. And that's what we got to be too today. We got to be without a word. We got to be without a word and come and follow Jesus. Come after him. He said, any man desire to follow me, let him deny himself. All that we can say, all that we plead in our case. He said, don't plead your case. He said, I will fight for you. Pick up your cross and follow me. See, we got to take into consideration the God factor. We don't have to plead our case. We don't have to go fighting and bickering and murmuring. He said, do all things without murmuring. Be without a word. Because we have the factor, the God factor. We have God on our side. And guess what? God can change reality. He can change it. He can change what your eyes see. As you walk into faith, He is creating new realities around your faith. As you lean to Him and don't you fight the battle getting in His way, you allow Him to be able to change the dynamic, to change what we think it is, what we think it's going to be. God is in control of that. He said the foundation of God standeth sure. The foundation is sure. He don't need our help. He said, cast those cares on me. Cast your burdens on me. He said, be anxious for nothing. Why? Because His foundation standeth sure, and He know those that belong to Him. He said, I know my people are sealed. And so we don't have to worry. We don't have to fret today. All we have to do is trust God. Be without a word. He began to say, just like He said, wives, be without a word. That have a quiet spirit. Quiet is a spirit, y'all. Quiet is a spirit. A quiet spirit. We must ask God, God, give us that spirit right there, that spirit of quietness, that we can be without a word. He said, if you be without a word, those that are not obeying the gospel, they will be won by you, by your actions, by your chaste conversation, by your living, what you presenting. You being that tabernacle of the Holy Ghost, Christ dwelling with you, that will draw people, that will change, that will give you favor among men. And I begin to see God begin to do that for me this week. He began to give me that favor. He began to do it. We always must remember that factor. We sometimes forget it and then we try to do it ourselves, but we must remember the God factor. The God factor in our life. That factor changes things. That factor can change people's heart. That factor can change what our eyes see, because it is not by by sight. It is by faith. And by faith, Abraham believed God and it was counted to him as righteousness. And so today, let God be the factor in your life. Let Him be the factor. It makes the impossible become possible. The things that can't be now can be because of God, the God factor today. God bless you all today. I will be praying for y'all. Keep God first. Make Him the Lord over your life. He said, when you make me the Lord over your life, and I abide in you, you abide in me, you can ask what you will, and it shall be done. It shall be. It's only when we are not walking in that, what God has called us to do, that we fail. And so today, while you have this day, humble your sight in the eyes of the Lord. That meekness, that quiet spirit. You don't have to fear. God said, I haven't given you a spirit of fear. You know, fear is a spirit too. That spirit comes from the devil. He said, that's a spirit. And you must cast it out and give him get that quiet spirit that you can lay back and let Him do it. Let him take the over and take it to where it needs to go. God bless you all. You all have a blessed day. Thank God for you all. Take care.